Hi everybody, I thought I would do a nice relaxing project today. Well, it will be nice and relaxing for you to watch, hopefully, but for me it wasn't. I've done quite a lot of more complicated projects recently and I thought I'd do something a bit more relaxing and therapeutic, and it turned out to be more stressful than a lot of my other projects. This won't be a long video and I won't be talking all the way through it. There's not much to say. Once I've explained a few things, I'll put you on a music time lapse. So this is just a simple, or so you think, wall decoration. When I had finished this and hung it up on the wall, my partner pointed out that this is a skeletal hand holding a flower. As you can see there, I've rotated it and freeze framed it so that you can see it as clearly as what I can now see it. Unfortunately, when I was decorating it, I couldn't see that. I just thought it was a fancy pattern around the stem. Ultimately, this means that I coloured the hand, the fingers, the same colour as the stem. And so on the finished product, it's not as clear that it's a hand holding it as what it is there in the uncoloured mould. Now, this took me approximately 2 hours to colour in the mould how I wanted it. I'm obviously not going to have you sit through that. So I'm going to skip ahead now. You've watched me colour one leaf in already. I'll jump ahead to a more interesting part for you. Okay, so now I'm starting on the stem. I'm using a combination of the micro brush to get into the 90-degree corners and then filling in with an eyeshadow sponge applicator. There's not really much to say from here on in, other than to say how fiddly it was getting into all of those thin sections. I'm going to lead you into a time lapse shortly. What I'll do is I will chop up the video so that you just watch me do a couple of minutes of the stem and then watch me do a couple or 3 minutes of the rose. Then I'll jump us ahead again to the point where I'm putting the epoxy in. Okay, I just thought I'd stop it there just to show you how much I'm having to bend the mould over to make sure that I am getting the colouring into all of the crevices and all into the sides so that it builds up the thickness of the mould as well. And now we are at the point where I'm going to do the epoxy resin. My plan was to make 3 of these. One backed in clear, one backed in white, and one backed in black. Now I know the clear, the results would be affected by whatever colour wall you've got behind it. But I was more just curious what the product itself would look like with clear. I didn't mention earlier, but you will have seen, it's a holographic mould, so I was curious what the holographicness would look like with those different colours or with clear. Now that I've had my eyes opened that is a skeletal hand holding the flower, this one would not be part of that trio. This one's just a spare now. If I'm going to go ahead and do that again, which I might not do for YouTube, but just for my own benefit, what I would do is make 3 of these again with the same colour rose, same colour leaves, same colour stem. Let's just say, for argument's sake, white for the skeletal fingers. So I would make 3 of those with the hand the same colour each time as well, and then back them all with the different coloured resins and see how they compare, both in terms of the way they make the powders pop, but also in the way of how it makes the holographic pattern pop. And the final difficulty I had was getting the resin into all of those thin areas. Down in the stem area, I poured into the thick actual stem, then had to encourage it around the bony fingers as I now know them to be. But doing that was really difficult, getting it to go to the outer edges. So for some sections I did try and pour into the outer edges, teasing the mould apart with a stick to try and create a gap for me to pour into, so that I could get it to spread outwards from the stem, but also inwards from the outer edges. The rose was really difficult because there's no large areas to pour into. Just needless to say, there's a lot of overspill, a lot of trimming up to do. But I think you've probably seen enough of that now. So let's jump ahead to demould and trimming up. Okay, while I start to demould, I'd just like to let you know that this is part of the Friendship Express collaboration, organised by Tina from Pour Resin with Love, Susie from Serendipity Resin Creations, Sally from All Aboard Resin Creations, and Amy from Resonating Arts by Amy M. Please check out the playlist in the description. There's some wonderful creators in there. If you would like to take part, contact Tina, Susie, Sally or Amy. Their contact details will be in their channel descriptions, which you will be able to find by going to their videos. Thank you. As you can see, this is still quite bendy. I seem to remember thinking that I was glad about that. I can't remember why though. I'm going to jump ahead again. Okay, so straight up on demould, I've put it against a white background. And now with my hand behind it to show how see-through it is. And in a moment, it will have a black background. The rose really pops against the black background. This is just to show you options for if you didn't want a white background and you didn't want a black background. If you wanted to do a clear one, then you can pick and choose which wall covering you would want to hang it on. Perhaps, I don't know, just gives you options. And now for some trimming up. I'm not going to show you the whole thing again, it took a long time, but I'm starting off just using my fingernails because some of the edge pieces that are a bit thinner can just be scraped off or bent over to break the connection, shall we say, and then just pulled off. Or for more awkward areas or thicker pieces of overpaw, just gently using my X-Acto knife. Well, thank you very much for watching. There won't be a glamour photo because the item is too big to have in shot without zooming out too far. So there is a glamour video, so please hang around for that. I do it again with a white backing and a black backing, so definitely look at the black backing. Thank you, have a good week, and I hope to see you again next week.